Welcome back to another video on OddAlerts. In this one, we're going to take a look at BTTS in the first half. We're going to talk about the market. We're also going to look at how you can find games for it consistently using filters. And I'm also going to give some general advice on why I think it's not the best market to be betting on. There is ways to eliminate some risk, as we will discuss in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back to another filter focus video. Now, I've had a lot of people asking about BTTS in the first half, and whilst it's not a market that I've really played before, either consistently anyway, I thought I would try and create a filter for it, see what types of games we get, and I'll just do this as a go so that you can learn from it, and I'll explain my thought process, and you might have different ideas on this as well. So the first thing we will look at for me is actually a focus on the away team that scores quite a few first half goals, or at least has the potential to do so. So we can look at scored over 0.5 first half goals, and we will say away from home, let's go 70% or more. I would say that's quite high. And then for both teams, let's put the first half goal percentage, here it is, over 0.5 first half goals. The percentage overall, and let's put this to 65%. And when you're building a filter, I think it's important to just hit search and just see the types of games you get first, see what, you get a feel for the sort of percentage of games that come back. So here we've only got 3 games. Now it is a Tuesday as I record this, so there's not too much football on. But what we can do now is go into some of these games, take a look at them, and then I'll give my thoughts as I look at these games. So we've got one here from League One, Reading Derby. Let's take a look at that. Interestingly, both teams have scored more in the first half than they have in the second half. Now, by default, we're looking at the home form versus the away form. And we can actually check the BTTS first half percentage. It's 36% for both of these teams. Now, 36% converted into odds is around 2.7, I think, 2.78. So when people actually asked about BTTS first half, my first thought was, why take so much risk if you're just trying to enter the first half goals market? You could set alerts and bet on one goal. You could also go for one that I really liked when I was playing the first half goals, or when I was playing total goals as well. You've got the Asian total goals lines, so you could bet on over one first half goal, and if there is one goal, you get a refund. If there is 2, then you win the bet. But if there's 2 and it's not for both teams, then you would have lost the BTTS, because of course in BTTS you also need 2 goals. This is the thing, you've just got to break down these markets sometimes. What is the core of what you actually need to happen, and is there something you could just take away, just less risk, but still likely you're increasing your chances, and just taking away some of the risk at the same time. And I think, again, like I always try and just teach about probability. Half with most goals is an interesting one as well. So most goals, I would say, usually come in the second half for most teams. In terms of a general trend, it's the same with cards. More cards in the second half, more goals in the second half. Teams are just a little bit more cautious in that first 15 minutes of a game, whereas in the first 15 minutes of the second half you might be 1-0 down, so you've got to go for it, or you might be still at 0-0 and you want to get this game won before it gets edgy in the final 15 minutes. So there's a lot of data, I would say, to back that up, but here for Reading, most goals have been seen in the first half as opposed to the second half, certainly. So given the data for this one, is it one that I would put on for BTTS? Absolutely not. Just because of the teams, because of the amount that they've conceded. But this is where you then reassess, and if you've got backup markets, you contemplate for that. In the case of BTTS first half, you could then look at the Asian lines for over one first half goal, and then again, that's one that maybe you'd want to take in play after 5-10 minutes, depending on the game state. If we wanted to do that, we could set an alert here by the half. First half goals, you can see actually over 1 is 2.63 right now. Highest scoring half to be the first half is 3-10. That's an interesting one given Reading's home form. And the first half goal line is 1.7, so that could be a nice one to get on should it increase in the first 5 minutes of this game, because as I say, you get a refund if there is just one goal So if we wanted to set an alert on that, we just click on it, and I'll just say, let me know if it hits evens, and I'll also set one for first half goals in general. It's 0.36 at the minute. Let me know if it hits 1.8, and we'll see how that one goes. So what we can do now is look at that BTTS percentage and actually just add it in to the filter directly. So BTTS first half percentage, all games, I mean, let's say 50, and we'll save for both. I think this is very high. I'm not sure if this will return any results. I don't think it will for today, of course, because we only had 3 fixtures, but let's see if the next 5 days gives us something it doesn't. So the BTTS first half percentage, you've put that to 33% then. We do get a game, and it is a game from today. We're still looking at the next 5 days, aren't we? Yeah, so we get one game from Germany here, Werl against Saarbrücken. So we are looking at a pretty even game, I would say. The home team just edging it, but the away team with a slightly better goal difference. They are averaging 2 goals per game, and we can see the last game ended with BTTS in the first half, 1-1 at half time. In terms of home games, they have failed to score in the last 3 first halves. If we look at the away team, now for the away team, they have scored in the first half in the last 4 games. They're pretty good away from home, just 2 defeats, a few draws in there as well. They've scored in all but 2 games, and they are a decent goal-scoring team. And again, this is one, would you put it for BTTS? Probably not. I just don't. When people ask me about BTTS, I'm more than happy to make the video, but if the video is me saying, maybe don't do it, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that being the ultimate lesson or opinion, certainly from me, for the video, because I just think there's other markets you can go into that offer less risk, to be honest, because this home team is without a first half goal in the last 3 games. They haven't won or scored over 1 goal in the last 4 games as well. They're not a bad team, certainly, but I just think when I look at a game that I have to get a lot of confidence for the bet that I'm placing, and I think everybody should work like that, to be honest. You want to look at the data and feel comfortable with it. If you don't, then that is sort of the definition of risk, isn't it? How much risk do you feel? Now, obviously, you're never going to eliminate risk. That would be silly to think that you're going to. But you need to also practice that if you find a game on a filter or something, or from the trends page, it doesn't mean you have to select it. It just means, you can say no. And I think betting is more about what you say no to, or learning to say no, or learning to strip down the markets, as I have in this one. BTTS first half might be your target market, so to speak, when you're looking at a game or a set of games, but be okay with saying, okay, well, this home team isn't really scoring goals. Maybe we can set an alert and come into this one for a halftime result, or, Asian halftime goals over 1 hour, as I was talking about before, because you get the refund, it's less risk, and it's more of a disciplined actual system, that you have, as opposed to just sticking with a market regardless of when the data doesn't really feel right. So that was the BTTS first half video, and rambling a little bit at the end, but if you enjoyed it, let me know. And also, if you've got any feedback or any requests, is there any markets or any sort of areas of betting on football, or football statistics, football data, analytics, whatever, let me know and I'll make a video on it. If you're interested in football data, you can look at OddAlerts API, which will let you grab all of the data behind the trends pages, behind the value bets pages, behind the filters as well, now with the stats endpoint. And if you do leave some feedback, I'll read it and I'll reply to you straight away. So as always, thank you, and I will see you in the next one.